people, it's me, JiBron here, back at again with another video. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And welcome back to another episode of JiBron Unhinged. Y'all, we got a lot to talk about. Erika Kirk Widow is talking about how everyone should get married young. Kodak Black, you're arrested. Nancy Guthier, your mother may possibly be found. And Britney Spears, you pled guilty to her DUI. So, y'all, you know the drill. Can we talk? Okay, the first thing that we're going to talk about is Britney Spears and her pleading guilty to this DUI. So if you don't know what happened, let me give you the rundown. So she got a DUI March the 4th of this year, and she pled guilty. She's going to have to pay $571 in restitution. She's required to have like 30 hours worth of classes. She has to meet with a psychiatrist like twice a week and a psychologist 3 times a week. She felt guilty. The court system does not want to see her face again, respectfully. They said that she immediately took accountability and that this is just something, like she made a mistake and she's sorry about it and she wants to, move on or whatever. When it comes to Britney Spears, I feel like growing up, this is a cautionary tale of being a child star. She's one of those girls who had it all at such a young age. And she had a public crash out, She lost custody of her children. She was in the conservatorship forever, which you can kind of understand why. But I feel like the reason for the conservatorship was due to the fact of her parental units, for the fact of the matter that her parents weren't really guarding her and weren't really protecting her, which is why she's had the crash out moments. I with her smashing, the windows out with the umbrella, her shaving off all her hair, and her going pretty much absolutely crazy. To be so young and to be under a microscope, the only other person who had it way worse would have been Michael Jackson. Because that is literally the pop standard of everything when it comes to life and when it comes to music. Like, that is because Michael Jackson was famous from the time he was 10 to the time he passed away at like 51. No, I forgot when your birthday was, Michael, but you're like 49, 50. That's probably the only other person who can understand the full grasp of being a child star and being an adult star. If you think about it, Britney was exploited a lot. She was under a lot of mind games, under a lot of control, and you can clearly see that there's a cry for help. But when you've been in this system of abuse for so long, it's kind of like when you just like release a loose animal that's been caged and tamed in a zoo, and you just kind of release them and you don't really give them the things that they need to make themselves comfortable in the wild. Like, she does not know what it means to be like, to have free control over every aspect of her life, to be able to blink and have access to her money and go out or whatever. Essentially, she's been a child her entire adult life until a couple of years ago when her conservatorship ended. So you can only imagine what it's been like. And when your coping mechanisms are unhealthy, you have to pretty much ask people for help, and these people are abusive and abusing their power. It's got to be a scary position to be in, to finally have all of this freedom that you dreamed of and that you wanted, this escape, and now all of a sudden, it's like, what do you do? And it's like, you just go back to old habits because you've been doing this for over a decade, and this is comfortable, and this is familiar, and this is my escape, and this is my high end. But even now, I don't need this escape or this high anymore because I have everything I could have ever wanted and never dreamed of. But now, what do I do? It's just sad, but I'm glad that she understands that she has a problem. She's going to go get the proper help. And I'm glad that in this instance, they haven't, no offense, she's not a caregiver. She's not a repeat offender. Respectfully, this is her first time, and people do make mistakes. I'm not excusing drinking and driving because, you could kill someone, you could harm another person, someone's life could be greatly damaged about it. It's not an excuse. It's one of those things where you just have to not do it again and, reach out for the help, and maybe her getting arrested was the only thing that was going to get her help. By the way, y'all, I love this outfit today that I put together out of my closet right over the last minute. Y'all, I never wore this shirt. Y'all, when I tell y'all for the show, I literally go on the depths of my closet to find something that I haven't worn to wherever you are, because y'all, it is a struggle. Because as we all know, the show is no budget over here. But nonetheless, so apparently some remains were found around Nancy Guthier. So they weren't necessarily looking for her. No offense, this case is still open. It's only been 4 months. As we all know what happened, she was kidnapped and, they wanted some ransom. I'm going to give y'all my opinion on it. I honestly think that they target either A, her daughter knows too much in the industry, or B, they targeted the wrong person, or once they figured out who it was, they were trying to get money out of it. I don't know what's happened to her. You know, she has the pacemaker, she has the medication, she's an older woman, she's a woman of a particular age, like I just said, because she's an older woman. We don't know where she is, and you know, you can only imagine what her children are going through. I was reading somewhere where her daughter pretty much said that she wakes up in pretty much panic and terror at night because she doesn't know where her mother is. It's got to be a scary thing to lose a parent and not know exactly what has happened to them, because you don't get a sense of closure, especially when something like this happens. Now, the human remains that they found, they weren't necessarily looking for her. I think they were just like looking for her, if I'm not mistaken. They were 7 miles from her residence. It wasn't any criminal nature. It was prehistoric anthropology investigation. So it's not like they were actively looking for her remains or whatever, because I think they still are under the impression that she's still alive and that she still could be well, but we just don't know because, I mean, at the end of the day, she does have this particular medication and she does need these particular things. I just think that it's quite disgusting that people are so desperate these days to do anything for a quick buck instead of going to work. Like, y'all, fun fact, I'm taping this on a Tuesday night. Tomorrow I have a summer movie class and then I have to go to work at 12 o'clock. Respectfully speaking, coffee is not my passion. However, I do need employment. And I feel like you have to do things that you have to do until you no longer have to. And when you do the things that you don't want to do, you must show up and show out, because respectfully speaking, I don't necessarily feel like that if you are in a position in life that you should just half-ass do anything. I feel like you should give your best effort. And with these robbers, to rob someone who's so elderly and not have the willpower to fight you back, it shows how much of a coward you really are, and you really are scum of the earth. Like I said about David last week, people who take advantage of people who are vulnerable, there's a special place in hell for people like you, because why are you taking advantage of someone who can defend themselves? This shows how you feel about yourself. You feel inferior, so you have to attack people who you also feel are inferior to you to make yourself feel better and to put yourself on this pedestal. Because at the end of the day, you just can't go around in life thinking that you're going to get the upper hand on someone by getting things through ill-gotten gain. That's just not how it's going to work. So, praise up to her and her family. I know this has got to be a tough thing that they're going through, but all you can do is pray and just wish for the best. Y'all, did y'all hear about Kodak Black? First of all, Kodak Black, nobody has talked about you in the past at least 10 years. Respectfully speaking, I have not paid attention to you since Rolling Peace. I mean, look-wise, you're kind of hard looking on the eye. You have a fan base. You and Tekashi 69 are kind of the same thing. You're not a snitch, but y'all are pretty much like, y'all were that random fad from when I was in middle school, and I think your fame has gone away, but evidently you're famous enough for me to be talking about, because, I mean, at the end of the day, nobody knows who the hell I am. I'm talking about you. But nonetheless, did y'all hear that he got arrested for apparently trying to traffic some ecstasy? So here's what happened. So he was arrested in Orange County on May the 6th. He was trafficking ecstasy more than 10 grams, less than 200 grams, and this was linked to a previous November 24th, 2025 incident where police responded to gunfire and searched vehicles, and they found some drugs, $37,000 in cash, documents, and initially he was not going to be on bond, but he was released on a $75,000 bond, and the conditions of his bond is he can't be around any weapons or drugs, and he can't be around his associates. I don't think people who are in the public eye realize that these people in positions of power are going to make an example out of you, so Joe Blow up the street can't go and pull the same thing kind of activity. Like, whether you like it or not, once you become a certain stature in life, you are a public figure, and children do look up to you whether you want them to or not. And you have to pretty much show that this lifestyle is not the life that you want to do. I mean, everybody has their vices. I mean, I have my vices, he has his vices, but I mean, the whole having. Do I think that that he was selling? No, I do think that he probably enjoys the steal of it all. Do I think that he is a menace to society? I don't know him like that. I've never really listened to his music like that. I know he's Kodak Black, and I know that Kodak Yellow was the #1 hit on the Hot 100 charts. Kodak pled guilty, by the way, which I kind of talked about that in another video because I was kind of shocked that he pled guilty, which, what was the whole point of doing the whole gang mechanisation of it all if you were just going to leave it one felon at a time? I just don't understand why people think that you're, first of all, you got arrested in Orange County. One thing I know about Orange County is that's a white city, and they do not play those games. And these people probably are looking at you, and they probably do have an eye on you due to your previous criminal history and a criminal record. Why would you bring eyeballs on yourself if you know that you have a criminal record? And I don't understand people who have a fascination with jail, especially when you have money at a particular point. Like, you don't need the free housing, you don't need the free food, you don't need the free healthcare. Like, stay out. First of all, it's not free, I have to pay for it, but that's not even a whole another here or there. It's just like, why do you put yourself in a position to where you're like you might be back where you don't want to be, and then they didn't give you bond, but then you were, first of all, $75,000, that's some random amount to put somebody on bond. Like $75,000. Like, out of all of them, to pick $75,000, but whatever. Kodak, I hope that, this works out in your favor, and I roll in peace, I guess. Y'all, I cut this fool. Hold on. Drink some of that down, cause the Lord. So then, y'all, did y'all hear about Charlie Kirk Widow? She was giving a speech. I think it was at a commencement ceremony, and she was pretty much urging people to get married at a young age because she was talking about. Let me get my quotes right, so I don't put words in the mouth. So she told the graduates to build strong relationships and early in life, so because that shapes everything and that follows. She said her now deceased husband spent time together talking about history, political figures, and encourage students to do that with their own relationships. She said that marriage and family, it urged people to think seriously about settling down earlier rather than encouraging people to prioritize marriage, family life, alongside career ambitions. This is all according to TMZ. Here's what the whole thing about getting married young is. Do you not realize that a lot of people who get married young end up divorced young too? Everybody I know who's gotten married in their 20s is either divorced, got cheated on, or their marriage is a crap. Like, I don't believe in the whole marriage thing. I do believe that you should get your career. I do believe that you should do the things that you want to do before you get married, because from my own life, and y'all know almost everybody I know has been divorced, and guess what? They were all married in their 20s. And she also said that he urged to had her husband urged to have more babies than they can afford, which a lot of Republican people, I don't understand why it's okay when y'all say stuff like that, but then when y'all see some of my people doing it, granted they're on welfare, like, why is it the standard different? Like, you can't afford to take care of the kids and then have to take care of them with my money, whatever. We're not going to talk about politics. I just don't understand why she's even allowed to give this speech at a graduation to pretty much tell them to pretty much get married, get hitched, and forget about yourself. I believe in prioritizing yourself first, because if you are not fulfilled with yourself first, you're going to be an old, miserable adult laying next to this bimbo that you low-key married because you were in pure lust and not love, and you just needed to get, your rocks off, versus doing the things that you want to do, and you are with the person because you want to be with them, not because you have to be with them, and split bills and split financial decisions, and because you have babies and stuff. I do feel like when you rush into a relationship, it does end horribly, especially when you are young, because I'll tell you from my own personal experience. Right now, I'm not getting a car anytime soon, but I know, like, in the recent years, I'm going to have to get a car. My opinion about cars change every day. One day I want a Charger, one day I want a Volkswagen Atlas, the next day I want a Nissan, and then I want a Ford Bronco. Like, when you're young, from experience, your mind is all over the place, and you don't really need to be making permanent temporary decisions unless you definitely know. Like, for me, in my career, I know for a fact I wanted to be in entertainment since I was a child. Granted, I really wanted to do music, which is a fear of mine. We're going to talk about that later. But I knew I wanted to be in entertainment of some sort since I was like probably 5 or 6. When you have dreams and goals and ambitions like that, that's one thing, because no offense, if you're young, you can pivot a career. But a marriage, you have to go file for a divorce, have to get a lawyer, have to divide assets. Granted, you probably don't have any assets because you're young as hell. But it's easier said than done. And then I don't know if they come from a wealthy background, but I do know that people in my area, the whole getting married young thing is kind stupid. I think that you need to get your money together, get your career together, and get yourself together before you try to cohabitate with anyone. Because I do believe that a lot of people get married young and they are equally yoked. And then, once you get older, you grow and you change, and the same person you are at 20 is not the same person you are at 40 and 50 and 60 and so on and etc. I feel like when you get married, it is a very serious thing, and it's not something light. It's not something that you should say, oh, they can change. If it ain't right beforehand, like we was talking about with Meg Thee Stallion last week, by the way, Clay Thompson, I said that was a bad look for you. It's really not that bad of a look for you because I think people expect that out of you. Respectfully, you are $300 million by the way. But I feel like when you're young or whatever, and you shouldn't be making major decisions. Unless you're buying a house, because you can sell that and you get a profit. Hopefully, if you have equity. I just don't believe in the whole young marriage thing. I feel like everyone should have a Sex in the City life. Like, get a penthouse apartment, live in the city, and be young. Go out, have a cocktail, and just enjoy your life before you just try to settle down and get coerced and stuff with people. But, y'all, that's all for the whole Can We Talk segment. Y'all, I have good news. If you notice, there is a new set piece that we have, which is my degree. So, y'all, this degree means a lot for these two things. I will say mean a lot to me because my skills medal and my degree represent hard work, dedication, and it proved to me that whatever I truly put my full effort into, I can achieve and I can accomplish. Y'all know that I've been scared to I've been talking about my EP for years on the channel. It's been a big fear of mine. Public speaking was a big fear of mine, and I want to go to the state competition. Granted, I'm going off to nationals, like I start practicing. And my degree was something that I necessarily didn't want, but it was something I was coerced to get, and I would say it was the best coercion that I could have ever asked for. It was a requirement in my family for me to get at least an associate's, and it was a conversation that my grandmother and my uncle had with me since I was a wee child. Like, you need to get something. You need to get a secondary education, or find something that you like. And if you don't want to go get your bachelor's, that's okay, but at least get something. And I am getting my bachelor's, by the way, and I do plan on getting my master's eventually as well. But I will say, y'all, don't let fear or people's fear influence you about the things that you want in life. That's part of the reason why I never released my EP. But y'all, when I went to the skills competition and I was alone away from my family, it really wasn't as bad as you think. That the things that you really are afraid of aren't that bad. I will say, taking my degree, I was kind of lost and I was kind of waiting for people to do stuff. But once I got to the point I actually want this, a lot of things came from this. I started doing the show more. My time at Bipsy was probably the most influential when it comes to my career now. And it's something that I was originally didn't want, but I'm actually very, very proud of. It's one of the memories that I will hold near and dear to my heart. And I do encourage everyone to get some education, because at the end of the day, with everything that goes on in this world, education is something that nobody can take away from you, and it's something that you can always have and rely back on. And now you don't have to necessarily get a degree like I did. You can get a certificate or something, a secondary thing. Anyway, my friend Simone is not like school, but she has a certificate. She has a certification in I don't know the proper term for it, but big on the masseuse. I think that everyone should at least try it. And the thing that I really learned this year after getting this was hard work, hard work, prayer, and determination can get you whatever you want in your life. And if you keep your head on straight and you keep your eye on the prize, nobody saying it was easy, because y'all, it was plenty of nights that I stayed up. Y'all, this math class almost killed me. And I was like, oh my God, get me through this, Jesus Christ, because I don't know how I'm going to pass this class. But with prayer and hard work and dedication and tutoring, I got through it. And I'll just tell anyone that if you are afraid of something, the only thing that's stopping you from getting it is you. Always remember that. But anyway, y'all, that's all the time that I have for y'all this week. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.